Let me chop it up with you about the KA system. Legendary in its own right, but some of y'all missed it. 67 when the riots broke out. A dream came to Karriem, that's when his fighters broke out. A vision from the Most High was sent down. Now pay attention and let me tell you how it went down. It was sweet like Kush, not made for mush. So when you see Karriem, salute and bow your head and say, Hush.
Welcome to ABdAllah's Karriem ABdAllah podcast. Karriem ABdAllah Speaks, actually, podcast. One of the guests today, his name is Bryant Everett. I think I met him, he was about 13 years old, became a student. And he's been wanting so much to talk to people about the KA system. Many that wanted to do it are not here any longer. Bryant is like legendary and knows so much. And in between his talk, and I know I'm going to have to stop him sooner or later, because Bryant is just going to tell you. But I want you to know his story in regarding the system. Welcome, Bryant. Hush.
Hush.
You can start talking.
Okay. I just like to state some facts. As I look back at my life now, I'm almost 70. I'm 68 years old. I grew up in the mean streets of Newark, New Jersey. And karate was something I always wanted to do. I had a karate teacher, may God bless him, Fred Godfrey. He was the first one to introduce me to wrestling. He took me to pro wrestling and so forth. Good demo man he was. But I wanted to get to the next level, baby. And I used to, it's this street in Newark called Springfield Avenue. On the second floor, Mudaris used to have a karate school, Karriem ABdAllah. Young man there. And when I would pass, I could hear the thunder from upstairs. When you pass it, the building, you could hear all that thunder. Keyard. And the trophies, oh Lord, the trophies downstairs was glass case on both sides of the building, all loaded with karate trophies. Oh man, I wanted this so bad. But being a kid, the oldest of 10, we couldn't afford it. I'll never forget, I said something corny one day. I finally pushed myself up to go up the stairs, but I was scared at the same time. And so Karriem ABdAllah, my teacher, he had on one of these samurai robes. He looked sharp, but he was at his desk. He was asleep. This is during the period when he was making the system and all the other 40-some ways up to fight and so forth. But I was in awe. And I can remember telling him I didn't have any money, but I'll clean up, I'll do whatever it takes to become a student. And just like that, man, he had a big heart, man. He let me come to the school. ABdAllah's Karriem ABdAllah. How would you rate me pound for pound as a student that you have got sharp going to them junior championships? What do you think of me, ABdAllah? Did you think I was special?
Very special. You was next to Jerry Wazir. And Jerry was an outstanding fighter that fought men at 16 years old.
16 years old, yes, sir. I'll never forget it. Me and him was the same age.
Yeah.
That's right. Yes, sir. You call that ABdAllah.
Yeah.
I remember one time, ABdAllah, when Jerry was a young guy, junior, I think. It was a student you had across the street, Springfield Avenue at the first dojo.
Yami,
Ush.
give me another question.
Okay. This is something I've been wanting to ask you too. I'm gonna call out a move, a kick, a punch, whatever, and you tell me what student was the best with that move. We're gonna start with the back crescent that you invented. Who would you say was your best with that?
It wasn't no best with that, because I taught many students that. And the ones that executed that particular kick became champions, actually.
Richard Denby.
Well, Richard Jimmy had the jump. It was a jump back crescent. He used to break the board. He used to break the boards. He was the only, and guess what? He never missed the boards. With his jump back crescent. Richard Demme was an outstanding fighter, but that technique was the best ever.
Hey, I remember. I'm gonna take you back real quick. You remember he heard it, the original robot?
Oh yes. Oh yes. Oh yes. Because the original robot, he used to sell noise when he used to go get a haircut from Richard, and Richard was a quiet guy. So Richard told me, he said, when he come to school, I'm gonna straighten him out.
I want to know, what does it feel like when you look back over the years?
Everett, Bryant, it was a dream come true. I knew what you was capable. I knew what all of them was capable of doing, because they had a teacher that could teach it.
Wow.
And how about the times when I could look at a guy fight and tell you how to beat him?
That's what I'm talking about. The science. He may be a kicker.
Yep.
I remember you say, so the kicker's like
Fred Miller.
Fred Miller's brother. I remember I fought him.
Right.
I just came to the dojo out of the streets hanging out all night, and I knew he was a kicker. So you know what you told me? Don't let him kick. Stay on top of him.
Right.
Make him use his hands.
Right.
And I won, but they cheated.
And they didn't have no hands. They only had a reverse punch.
And then kick. But
yeah.
I must, out of respect, this brother, Fred, he was one of the only ones, man. This is a real man. This is a real champion. He'll come in the ghetto. He came to your contests where a lot of them jokers was scared to come to.
You're so right. Yes.
Yeah,
the late Fred Miller. Yes. I remember one time, when I fought James Fain and defeated him?
James Fain.
But hold on, I just wanted to tell you about this. We were, after the fights, everybody was hugging one another, happy to take a picture together. So Fred was next to me. So I said, Fred, let's you and I do a fight. Fred said, no way. Because that gold you wouldn't have went no place with me. You know what I mean? Ask me another question. Come on. Try to trick me. Try to trick me.
Okay. All right. Let me do something. No.
You can't even think of a way to trick me.
I'm trying to think, man.
Come on, Brian. I talked to you 3 weeks ago about this. Come on, the people want to hear you. I know. Well, just ask me another question. Ask me another question, because I'm ready. I'm ready to.
Because I used to wonder if certain people in the school that I never moved around with, and it's certain. What was the science? I know you did this for a reason.
Yes.
But what is the science? Why you didn't let certain students fight each other?
Because
that's a big one.
Yes. Well, the reason I match you in regard to your ability. Let's say if I would have let you at a stage fight Jerry Wazir, right? He'd have took your confidence. He would have lowered. You'd have probably would probably quit the school, because he was a Bama, right? So I knew how to match people up. I never let the robot spar Milo. He didn't even spar Earl while he was there, because I wanted robot to grow into the system. I didn't want him to be destroyed. So even with the peewees, I didn't match certain peewees together. So throughout all my years of teaching, there was no student that quit because he was on somebody that he couldn't whip. I put him on somebody that he had barely beat sometime. You follow what I'm saying? Okay. But that student, but now if he stopped coming to the class, that student that barely won before will come back and win, because I was creating the system in different moves, and the moves, you didn't know the moves. So he was scoring you. So I knew just system. The KA system is not a put together way of fighting. It's a system of fighting. It's just like training a boxer. Good master trainers have a system that they embed. And they can look at you, hit the bag. They can look at you spar and know what you need. And they teach you these things. You follow what I'm saying? And some guys, they won't let you box. But when you come to that level, they'll say, okay, you're ready. So I have the science for that. I just know, I could look at it and tell. I could train you and tell. That's just something that's embedded in me. Any more questions?
Right here. Okay. For instance, when you had one of your boxers, Dwight Walker, you came down to Tampa, and I had moved down here, Tampa, Florida, and the different people, I was learning a lot because I'd go to the weigh-ins and different things. Where would you rank, being that you were so gifted in training not just karate men and women, but boxers? It's some named boxers that you helped their career, like Yaki Lopez, for instance.
Okay, let me tell you about Yaki. I was asked to go to the camp to train Yaki to fight Matthew Saad Muhammad. Matthew Saad Muhammad was a world champion and very tough fighter. So when they hired me, when I talked to his people in California, I said, I told Yaki, I said, you can't beat Saad Muhammad, but you're a better boxer than Saad Muhammad. I said, if you get him in trouble at any stage and you don't take him out with a few punches, tell yourself I got to go 15 rounds. And you will have a gas tank, because that's how I trained him. But he's, and Yaki was like an Indian, right? He had part Indian in him.
Right.
So
West Coast.
yeah, so when he hurt Saad, he went crazy. He must have threw about 40 punches.
Man.
He must have threw about 40 punches. And back then they wasn't stopping fights quick. But I knew it was over when he came. He had Saad in trouble. That's when he threw. If you look, hold it. If you look at the tapes, you'll see. I don't remember which round it was. Could have been in like the 8th or 9th round. He had Saad in trouble. He punched himself out. When he was coming back to when he came back to the corner, I knew it was over. He must have lasted maybe another round and a half, and then Saad was, energized after he hit him a few times, came back and took him out. Now, the other fighter that I helped become the light heavyweight champ was Eddie Mustafa Muhammad.
Eddie Mustafa.
Before he went to camp, the local promoters contacted me because they tried to steal him from his manager, right? So they wanted me to be his condition man. So I had a meet with Eddie Mustafa in New Jersey, and before we agreed to that, I said, I'm not a yes-and man. If I tell you to go another round, you have to go another round. I wasn't his trainer, but I'm his condition man. I'm gonna have to make sure he make weight for this particular fight, because nobody thought Eddie Mustafa was going to make weight before he fought Marvin Johnson in 1981.
Okay.
So after I said I'm not a yes-and man, and if I say go another round, if we got to run, you got to run. You can't tell me no. So he agreed to that, and he stuck through the fights, and that's why he was able to beat Marvin Johnson. But the third round, he had Marvin Johnson in trouble. Now, what happened, I was taking pictures because I'm a professional photographer. I was taking pictures.
That's right.
So Marvin Johnson started coming back the 4th, 5th round. Because what happened, Slim Jim Robinson, who was Eddie Mustafa Muhammad's trainer at the time, told him how to beat a southpaw, which I learned from him. So, but he wasn't saving Mustafa, because Mustafa started fighting inside. And that was Marvin Johnson's way of beating him. So Murad Muhammad, he was part of Eddie Mustafa's team. So he came to me where I was taking pictures and said, Karriem, get in this corner. You got to get in this corner. He's losing this fight. So I went to his Eddie Mustafa corner. So after the bell rang and Mustafa came to the corner, I only had to say this to Eddie Mustafa. I said, Mustafa, Freedom Road, Freedom Road. And he went there and took him out the next, I think, 3 rounds, in round 11 or something like that. Now, Freedom Road was the road that I named at Muhammad Ali's camp. And I used to wake up, hold it now. I used to wake up 3 o'clock in the morning, 20 below zero, 15 below zero. Go to Ali's where he was sleeping
Deer Park.
in Deer Lake, Pennsylvania, and wake him up,
Yeah.
and it's time for us to go. So he never told me no. Never told me no. So when I went to his corner to say Freedom Road, that woke him up, and then he started fighting outside. He started boxing again.
Oh man.
Look at the fight. Marvin Johnson was tearing his butt up inside, right?
Okay.
And even his trainer didn't make him change at that time. He heard me say Freedom Road, and he knew what we went through in the camp, and that changed him. Because even when he was fighting inside, Slim Robinson was telling him the box, get outside, keep throwing that left hook to the body. Because most fighters nowadays just throw a right hand, but you have to master how to train the guy to do that. Most trainers these days don't know how to do it, because most of them just wasn't educated by a guy like Eddie Futch, Lee Black. You follow what I'm saying? I watched these men, some of these outstanding trainers, even Mayweather's uncle that died. You follow what I'm saying? A lot of them knew how to train guys. Today's guys don't even know how to train guys like before. They got them training some like mixed martial art guys. Got them lifting weights. You don't need no daggone weights to whip a man.
No.
Is the strategy? Yeah, and then have a guy who's the condition trainer. What the heck? What's the trainer for? Talking about the condition trainer. What is you gonna do to get him in condition? Hit that heavy bag, hit that speed bag, use the mist for certain things. Do your running, get up and run in the morning. Don't go to the gym and run on that little plastic thing that they made to run on. Run in the cold, run in the heat, run in the rain, run in the snow. That builds your momentum up. A lot of these days fighters don't know that, because these trainers are they're not scientists. And most fighters are winning just on their own. I heard a fighter from Newark, New Jersey, Shakur. The last fight he fought, and the people was walking out, right? He actually said that he didn't know how to cut the ring off. You had 23 fights, and you don't know how to cut the ring off? I teach you that the same week you come in and start training with me to cut the ring off. He's a decent boxer, but he has to prove himself as a fighter, even though he have those titles. When he started getting with these monster guys, we'll see if he learned. You don't have to be a hard puncher. Ali wasn't a hard puncher, but Ali would whip your butt. He would tire you out. He would whip you. When he saw you hurt, he went after you. Shakur still don't do that. So, the world is waiting to see, but I'm also waiting to see, because when they talk about him, I just say, well, he have to prove himself to me.
At a late age as I am, I can't move like I used to. How would you tell me to fight these younger guys?
Well, you don't have to do a whole lot of moving to fight the guys. You just have to be able to step. Some guys can move good. Some guys you teach the step good.
Okay.
But all fighters should learn how to step, because your mama showed you how to walk, or your daddy showed you how to walk.
From the first step you taught us?
Yes, the step.
Oh, man.
Step. Now they teaching guys. Listen, I seen the guy train the guy with a stick with a fighter. These guys are bums, man. They don't know how to train no daggone fight.
What you gonna use the stick for?
Blocking a stick. Is number one, is dangerous to have a stick. You don't need those. Most of them was never under a master trainer. They got lucky and got with a fighter that had talent or didn't have too much talent, and the guy won some fights. You know what I mean?
There you go.
I tell you what, I was talking to Athletic Commissioner Larry Hazzard about training. That I wanted to get with a fighter again. He said, Karriem, you're too disciplined. I said, no, it's not that I'm too disciplined. Nobody don't call me. Call me one day.
Okay.
All right, you could take a fighter like Shakur. All right? Have a lot of talent. He'll learn how to cut that ring off that day. I have him doing that. See, it has to go into your memory bank when you teach a guy. I can't show you just before the fight, because you won't be able to do it, because when you get hit, you go back to your old stuff. You got to go in a memory bank. So you have to, sometimes it may take a month, 2 months, or 3 months for him to do that on his own. Hey, you remember getting beaten with the belt by your mama? And then after a while, you start trying to catch that belt? Right? Or jump over the belt? That's called common sense. A lot of fighters are not gifted with a common sense. So you hear the corner say, throw a left and then throw a right, and then you move over this way. God damn it, you don't tell me which way to move. You got to show him how to move and let him be able to think for himself. A thinking fighter becomes a great fighter. A fighter that you have to think for all the time, do not become that. As bad as Mike Tyson was, Mike did not have a defense when he got hurt. He didn't know how to hold on. He didn't know how to catch the punches. You follow what I'm saying? He was just an aggressive fighter. I teach the whole thing, and I could, from scratch, I could teach you that. A fighter that's out there, hey, a lot of fighters are firing they trainers after they lose one fight. You should have saw that before time. That fighter, some trainers can't take you no further. I see a lot of them fight on TV. A lot of fighters, when they going back, right? You know how a guy try to tie you up? They have their arms around him. You're supposed to have your arms inside. You force your arms inside. And when you stepping back, you can throw punches. I don't even hardly see that. I seen this guy from Canada, Christian B. Millie or something like that. Tough body punches. But he don't know how to step back and throw punches. You follow what I'm saying? All right?
Yeah.
Sometimes he'll throw one hook and doubling up with the hook. Why about throwing 2 left hooks to the body? You ain't got to stop because he hit you one time. A lot of these fighters now hit you one time and like back up. Because they trainers don't have that used to be good training. And they winning like this here until they get on a monster. Even though there's not that many monsters out there. You know what I mean? But I guarantee a person, if they put me in a ring, world class a champion, because I've been around champions, right? And I look at the fighter one time, and I can add some stuff that'll help him in his fighting, without any doubt. Yes.
Let me ask you this here. Somebody, a trainer's knowledge, he only can take fighters so far. It depends what kind of trainer he is. He could be a defense trainer or offense trainer. But when you have people like, you can't teach this here, Amos, and you will agree with me. People like Karriem Whitaker. I seen that man do some stuff. I'm like, God, how can he slip? Oh boy, have you ever sat down and watched some Amos?
Yes. Yeah, he was a gifted person. He was gifted. Some guys have a special gift, right?
Oh man.
There's guys you could take off the streets, right? And bring them to come to the gym. And he'll look at these guys fighting and he say, I'll box him. I bet you I give him one good round and go in there and whip the guy one good round. Because he's tired the other rounds. Some guys are just gifted like that. All right?
I've seen that happen down Dukas.
Yes. Yes.
Bryant.
You know what? And another thing, most of these guys throw a left hook. Most of them are slapping with the hook. A lot of trainers don't know how to make a fighter, how to ball his fist right, and how to turn.
Right.
It's certain ways you can throw a left hook. Ways you can.
Joe Lewis.
Listen, he threw him proper. You follow what I'm saying?
Man.
But I'm just saying, no, I'm just taking one punch. A lot of them smack with their left hooks. That's why a lot of guys don't go down when they get hit with a left hook. You get hit with a left hook good, your knees maybe buckle a little bit. As bad as Ali was. You know the 2 punches that knocked him down from Joe Frazier? You know Holt? He punched to the body, one. So but Ali had a habit of lowering his right hand for left hooks.
Right. That's how Joe caught him that time.
Right, that guy from Europe caught him with that, right. So right. So what happens, the trainer saw that because he had a smart trainer. So he did one thing, pop to the body and come back with the same punch to the head because Ali was going to have that arm down. And that's how they caught him because, the other fights he had, Ali kept that hand up, didn't he? He didn't kept putting that hand up.
Right.
So now, those are strategic things in boxing that today's guys do not know how to train their fighters to do. If you look at all the fighters that fight a southpaw, the main punch they throw is a right hand. They don't know how to shift the body to throw a left hook, and they're scared to do it because that's something you have to learn in camp for like 2 or 3 months. See, Mustafa learned it because we was in camp for 3 doggone months in Deer Lake, Pennsylvania in the wintertime. I want to
know your opinion, Amos,
yes.
Of this year. Excuse me for cutting you off.
No, go.
This is something that has bothered me over the years. A lot of times I go back and play old fights. And I go when Holmes fought Ali. I will never in my life forgive Holmes for what he did to my man. He didn't have to do that.
Hold
He
on.
just wanted to be on his record that he whooped the great Muhammad
No,
Ali.
no, 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 no. That wasn't it. I remember Larry Holmes being Ali's sparring partner, right?
That's right. Back in
Now,
the
but I
day.
also remember when I knew Ali was finished because I was in camp and saw him,
That's what I'm talking
walking
about.
crooked. Hold it. But the people around him, oh, champ, well, you look good, look good. Ali was finished. He was finished before his last maybe 4 fights. I saw that, right? You can't blame Holmes for what he did. You have to blame the people that was around Ali, including Angelo Dundee. Because
You remember how Ali used to hurt a person?
listen, he was gone. Listen,
And wave him in?
hold.
He
Hold.
didn't have to hit Ali with the stuff. He could have carried
The
Ali.
referees could have stopped it, couldn't he?
He could have
Was
stopped it.
was the referee in charge? But they didn't
Yes.
care. They didn't care. They wanted to see Ali destroyed any daggone way. You follow what I'm saying? Don't blame Holmes for that. You can't blame him. What, he's supposed to put his hands down?
Holmes was trying to knock him out. He didn't pull his punches.
I wouldn't have pulled my punches either. I wouldn't have pulled my punches either. Maybe it would have saved him a little longer. You follow what I'm saying? Don't blame Holmes for that. Yeah, Holmes did call a referee though, but the referee ignored him. He did call.
My man like that.
Leave Holmes alone. Leave Holmes alone. He did what he's supposed to do. The referee was in charge. He controls that ring. He could have stopped it. The corner could have stopped it.
Yeah, why they ain't throwing it?
So why are you blaming Holmes? Don't blame Holmes. Blame the person that was in charge. Okay? We're going to end it.
You explained it to me. I
Great.
see now.
Great.
Yeah.
Good. Listen.
Sugar Ray Robinson said a guy had died, and Sugar Ray Robinson said, "This is the nature of this business."
That's right.
It's my fault.
Destroy. Listen.
A dude named Dog, Tommy Dog. Yep. Have you seen this? Have you seen a fighter kill somebody or destroy them and they never be the same again?
Yes.
Start
Well,
pulling their punches.
Well, Sugar Ray had a dream. Hold it. Hold it. But hold it. I'm going to cut you for a second. I'm going to cut you for 1 second. Sugar Ray had that dream that he was going to kill somebody. But the people around him made it said fight anyway. It's just a dream. A dream is not a dream. A dream is reality. God is letting you know you're going to kill this man. When you have a dream like that, you know what you're supposed to do? Don't fight. You had a dream that you was going on a trip and you had to take the plane and you had a dream about a plane crash. Should you take that trip?
Oh, man.
Should you take that trip?
Hell no.
All right. Some things just make sense. Some things make sense. You can't blame the circumstance. You got to blame yourself. You follow what I'm saying?
Okay.
And back then, they probably threat Sugar Ray said, if you don't fight, we're going to do this to you or do that to you. So he had to fight. Listen, we're going to close this out. Bryant,
Yes.
it was great talking to you. At least you're on a podcast. You can't say, Albert Wesson didn't. You're on a podcast. I thought about you. I'm happy that you spoke to the people or to the world about how you came up. It was indeed an honor and privilege to be talking to you. You had me a little teary, and I know you was, because both of us are crybabies. Yeah. But once this get on, I'll give you a call so you can review it. Thanks so very much. Hold it. Thanks very much, everyone, for watching this podcast. And it was like a real podcast. It was an action podcast. And the questions there's not a question you can ask me in boxing or karate or mixed martial art that I can't answer. And I'm still a qualified trainer. Hopefully I get some work in the near future. So long, everyone.
Let me chop it up with you about the KA system. Legendary in its own right, but some of y'all missed it. 67 when the rise broke out. A dream came to Karriem, that's when his fighters broke out. A vision from the Most High was sent down. Now pay attention and let me tell you how it went down. It was sweet like kush, not made for mush. So when you see Karriem, salute and bow your head and say, "Ush."